So I've done a lot of my designing and my plans already for him, but basically he'll be a Frankenstein monster. My idea is that I want his brain to be a little too big for his cranium, so the top of his head is kind of sticking up, like the stitches are the only thing that's holding it down. So as a result, we're gonna cover him up separate, two pieces. So that's actually kind of neat, something different. This is not part of the puppet. This is just a stand so he doesn't roll around, because he was rolling around. And his eyes are not going to look like that. It was just more for placement of his face, what I had in mind. He will have eyebrows though. That's my plan. Okay, so like I said, I've already done the foam work for him, and he has his mouths. You can see I got his finger grips inside. I have been using a low odor contact cement. The company that makes it is Lepage. It has a really good secured bond. However, it takes much longer between application and the task of squeezing it together. So much so that it's a bit of a hindrance, but I just don't want to deal with the fumes. So I suck it up. It's winter time, so we can't really do much outside right now. So I use the low odor with the fan going, and yeah, so you have to wait almost at least 30 minutes, maybe at least 45, an hour between your application and when you're making the contact. So yeah, it takes a little bit of patience. Anyway, but as you can see, he's really well secure now, and I am at the stage now that I am going to create a template for his skin. And like I said, it's actually going to be two pieces. Oh, my inspiration for the shape of his head came from a cactus guy that I made. It's over here, that I never finished. His name's Carl. Let's see if I can get him all in the shot. Carl the cactus. He's enormous. But basically, I wanted to have a similar top shape. So it's kind of like I got it in some basic shapes for cosplayers, but basically an egg shape, but cut in half to get that dome shape. And then once you have that, then you kind of do a circular thing, and then that's the base of the egg shape. I trimmed a lot of it down because then it made it too tall. So I just found a nice compromise there to be a good size head. All right, so now it's time to create the template. So what you do is you use a piece of fleece to cover it up, a yucky piece of fleece, like one that, not the final fleece. And so I grabbed this one. It's actually not really fleece, it's like a blanket. So it doesn't have as much stretch as I would like, but I have a lot of it and I want to get rid of it. So I'm going to use that. What's cool about templates is that the key is that you only need to do half. Unless you have sculpted the foam and it's one of a kind and the left side won't necessarily be the same as the right side, you can just do a template of half. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So I kind of find my middle. It has so little stretch, it's hard for me to figure out. Okay. So I believe this is the middle. Right here. And go a little over. And what's really fun about when you're working with foam is that you can just poke it to where you want it to be. I'm leaving the mouth open because I want to be able to draw along the mouth like that. So the key to doing the template is you're trying to keep it all flat. As flat as you can. And when there isn't ability to do a flat spot, then that's when you put in a dart. Because the idea is that you want to transfer this to paper. I guess you can also use your template or the actual fabric too if you want. Alright, so I'm trying to find the middle here. This is kind of neat to have it, you don't have to worry about the top. So anywhere that you have a seam, a dart will end up being a seam in your final product. So you have to determine where you want that dart to be. So we will have a seam down his chin, right here, and his face. I'm going to go right to the end here. Which is cool because there's techniques to reduce the appearance of them. You kind of pick at the seam a little bit to try to get to kind of make it less prominent. Okay, where do I want this dart to be? Maybe stemming from the hole. So imagine he's like, I'm a monster. Consider maybe 2 darts. They're not as... Yeah, I might do 2 darts. So when you're creating a dart, you flatten it and then you take a pin and you kind of go along it so it's nice and flat on both sides. Like that. I'm a lot of this is experimenting, playing around with things, see what works. What's kind of neat is he's a monster, so I'm actually contemplating making his skin patchy with all different colors, like he came from all different puppets. I'm toying with that idea. So if that's the case, then these seams are going to be really, really not that problematic at all. Okay, so here we are. Sorry, this is my first video, so that's what we're going to start with, I think, and see how that goes. I got lots of this blue fabric, so what you need to know is that you don't have to be afraid of making mistakes, because with the mistakes you learn more, especially with darts. Like you got to do them a lot, and I still haven't done enough to be sure that I'm not making mistakes. I've gotten rid of stuff all the time going, oh, well, that didn't work out. I did Olaf for our theater here in town, and that took a lot of trying to figure things out, because I was using a what was I using? I was using a inflatable lawn ornament as my my model, and it's not like I could cut off anything from it. Just trying to get to the very corner here. Let's see, is that kind of matching up? Alright, so here is the hole. Just going around the hole. Oh, I've reached another dart. Alright, so I don't know if you can see this because I'm left-handed. I'm sorry. I'll have my proper tripod next time. So what you do is you draw along your dart line to its peak, and on the other side. Like that. And it kind of makes a triangle. You'll see when it comes apart. And don't worry about rough lines, because once it's flat, then you can kind of like square off the corners and stuff like that. So this dart here. There we go. I've drawn the mouth. And I'll draw the edge here. Now, like I said, this isn't the greatest fleece because it doesn't share the same properties as proper fleece will. Proper fleece will be very stretchy, so you can like curve around things and stuff like that. So hopefully this works out okay, but we shall find out. All right, so I think I have all the drawn lines. Just can't not get Sharpie all over me. All right, so now I'm gonna, so that's what it kind of looks like. And the darts, like that. And now I'll take the pins out. Okay, back in a stand. So this is kind of what we end up with. It looks really weird, I know. So the next step is I'm going to straighten these. Do I have a ruler? Straighten out my lines. So that's one of the darts right there. This one here is super wonky. So we definitely want to straighten that out. I'm not too sure what that's going to end up looking like. We shall see. This is the circular part. Make sure this is nice and straight. I'm gonna change this a little to be triangles. Triangles seem to be better to work with. Like that. And then make this nice and straight. There we go. So now I'm going to cut this out. Before I go any further, I'm just going to mark what some of these things are. So this is chin. Top. Back. Hole, I guess. I don't know. Just because once it's cut out, it looks like garbage. And in the sense of it looks like it's a piece of scrap and it needs to go in the garbage. So, yeah, so this is what I wrote. Like this. There we go. So just a few words there. Just so once it's no longer in this piece here, I see what's going on. I'd have to say that this is my favorite time of year because I get to be the most creative. I get to try out new things. When it's market season, like holiday season, or prepping for the Puppets Up International Puppet Festival, it's all about making my funsters and making smaller puppets for the kids and all this kind of stuff. And it's more assembly line kind of stuff. But when I'm not prepping for it, then I can be experimental. I was saying in my intro that I did have a commission job that I'm pretty excited about, but it's been postponed until the fall. But I'm hoping that once it's back on the table, I can do another one of these kind of these videos. Okay, so there we are. Get rid of these wraps. Here. So it doesn't look like much. Here, I'm gonna pick up the camera. Ooh. Like that. So this is the top of the head, and then the chin, and this will be kind of smushed like that once it's sewn. And yeah, so that's what that looks like. But what I'm gonna do, I don't know if that's properly positioned, I don't know. What I'll do is I'm gonna transfer this to paper so that I could add seams and go from there.